If you watched westerns in the 1960s and 1970s, you know his face. You know his voice. That sharp, nasal drawl could turn even a simple comment into a warning that made everyone stop and listen. He was the man beside John Wayne, trading lines with Paul Newman and stealing scenes with only a few words. His name was Strother Martin, and he delivered one of the most unforgettable quotes in American movie history. But long before Hollywood came calling, he was flipping off diving boards in Indiana, chasing a dream that had nothing to do with acting. This is the story of the man who made small roles impossible to forget and proved you do not need to be the star to leave a lasting mark on American film. Here are 10 things you probably never knew about Strother Martin. Number 10. The boy who dove into destiny. Strother Douglas Martin, Jr. was born on the 26th of March, 1919, in Kokomo, Indiana. He was the youngest of 3 children, born to machinist Strother Douglas Martin Sr. and his wife, Ethel Dunlap Martin. The family spent a short time in San Antonio, Texas, before returning to Indiana, where Strother grew up between Indianapolis and the small town of Cloverdale. From a young age, he showed real talent in sports, especially in the water. Swimming and diving became his biggest passion. His lean build made him a perfect springboard diver, earning him the nickname T-Bone Martin because of the way he sliced through the air. By just 17 years old, Strother had already claimed the National Junior Springboard Diving Championship. It was 1,936, and the kid from Kokomo was already a national champion. He went on to attend the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, where he competed on the diving team. When World War II began, Martin joined the United States Navy and served as a swimming instructor, teaching recruits how to survive in the water. After the war, he returned to competitive diving with one goal. He wanted a spot on the 1,948 United States Olympic team. He entered the Adult National Springboard Diving Championships and delivered a strong performance, but finished third. Third place was not enough, and his Olympic dream came to a painful end. It was a heartbreaking setback for a young man who had spent years chasing that goal. But that disappointment changed everything. It pushed Strother Martin toward a second career that would make him unforgettable. Number 9. From the diving board to the back lot. With his Olympic hopes gone, Martin packed his bags and headed to Los Angeles. He arrived in Hollywood in the late 1940s with no connections, no agent, and no acting experience. What he did have was world-class diving talent and the determination to take any job he could find. Martin became a swimming instructor for legendary actress Marion Davies, the longtime companion of newspaper publisher William Randolph Hearst. He also coached the children of Charlie Chaplin, one of the biggest stars in the world. Those opportunities opened doors in Hollywood, but his road to acting was still far from easy. He worked as a swimming extra in movie water scenes, performing dives and stunts that demanded the precision of a former national champion. His first screen appearance came as an uncredited springboard diver in the 1950 crime drama, The Damned Don't Cry. That same year, he also picked up a small, uncredited role in John Huston's film noir classic, The Asphalt Jungle. He even worked as a leprechaun on the local children's TV show, Mabel's Fables. Imagine that. A man who would later become one of the most memorable villains in Western movie history first appeared on screen dressed as a leprechaun. Hollywood really works in unexpected ways. Number 8. The slow climb through television. Throughout the 1950s, Strother Martin built his career, one small role at a time. He appeared in many of the television westerns that helped define the era. One of his first notable TV appearances came on NBC's Western anthology series Frontier. He also appeared in the syndicated Civil War drama Gray Ghost, but it was Gunsmoke, the legendary long-running primetime drama, where Martin truly started turning heads. Over the years, he played many different characters on the series. One of his earliest standout performances came in the episode Cooter, written by a young Sam Peckinpah, where Martin portrayed a man with learning difficulties. The role demanded real sensitivity, and Martin delivered a thoughtful, heartfelt performance that proved he could do far more than play tough or intimidating characters. He later appeared on Have Gun, Will Travel as circus tightrope walker Dooley Delaware, and also guest starred on Brian Keith's first series, Crusader, a Cold War drama on CBS. He popped up in Lost in Space, Gilligan's Island, The Dick Van Dyke Show, Bonanza, and The Rockford Files. On The Dick Van Dyke Show, Martin played a playwright, inspired by Tennessee Williams, in the episode Baby Fat. His performance was so believable that many people later mistook Strother Martin for the real Tennessee Williams. He shared a striking resemblance to the famous playwright, both in appearance and voice, and he made the most of it. Martin even parodied Williams from time to time, turning the impression into one of his best-known party tricks. These TV roles were far from glamorous. The pay was modest, the hours were long, and guest stars rarely received much recognition. But Strother Martin understood something many actors never did. Every role, no matter how small, was another chance to impress the people making the next movie. Number 7. John Ford and John Wayne opened the door. The biggest turning point in Martin's movie career came when legendary director John Ford noticed him. Ford, one of the most influential names in Western film history, regularly worked with trusted character actors like Ward Bond, Ben Johnson, and Harry Carey Jr. Once Ford decided Martin belonged with that group, everything started changing. Martin appeared in Ford's 1959 film The Horse Soldiers, starring John Wayne and William Holden. In the Civil War drama, he played a small but memorable role, proving he could bring depth and tension to even the shortest scenes. But his true breakthrough arrived in 1962, when Ford cast him in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance starred John Wayne, James Stewart, and Lee Marvin, and many still rank it among the greatest westerns ever made. Martin played Floyd, one of Liberty Valance's henchmen. It was a supporting role, but he made it impossible to forget. His eerie performance as Lee Marvin's unpredictable sidekick, laughing as violence approached, became one of the most memorable portrayals in John Ford's career. After that, Martin became a familiar face in John Wayne films. He appeared in McClintock in 1963 as an incompetent Indian agent, opposite Wayne in one of the Duke's biggest comedies. He returned in The Sons of Katie Elder in 1965, and in True Grit 1969, he played Colonel G. Stonehill, an unlucky horse trader facing off with Wayne. One of the film's standout moments comes when Matty Ross outsmarts the experienced horse dealer through sharp bargaining and determination. It's still remembered as one of the best exchanges in Western movie history. Martin appeared in 6 films with John Wayne, showing just how much Wayne valued his talent. Martin once explained the difference between working with Wayne and Paul Newman. If Wayne helped you land a job, he would proudly tell everyone, saying, "I got you this job." Newman would do the very same favor, but would never mention it. Number 6. The line that changed everything. In 1967, Strother Martin stepped onto the set of Cool Hand Luke, and within moments, delivered one of the most famous lines in American movie history. The film starred Paul Newman as Luke Jackson, a rebellious prisoner on a Southern chain gang who refused to give in to the prison's harsh authority. Martin was cast as the captain, the harsh warden of the prison camp. It was a fairly small role, but he completely owned every second on screen. In one unforgettable scene, after striking Luke with a billy club for refusing to obey, the captain calmly turns to the prisoners, gathers himself, and delivers the line that would define Strother Martin's career. What we've got here is failure to communicate. Screenwriter Frank Pearson later admitted he worried the line sounded too educated for a rural prison warden. He even imagined a backstory explaining that prison officers studied criminology and penology at a state university, giving the captain a believable reason to speak that way. Martin saw it differently. He believed the captain was exactly the kind of man who would hear an impressive phrase from a textbook or classroom and start repeating it as if it were his own. That small insight completely changed how he delivered the line. What made the moment legendary wasn't just the words. It was Martin's slow southern drawl, his icy stare, the slight curl of his lip, and the confidence of a man convinced he held all the power. His performance turned a single sentence into movie history. The American Film Institute later ranked it number 11 among the 100 greatest movie quotes ever. Paul Newman repeated the same line later in the film, but it carried a completely different meaning. From the captain, it was a statement of control. From Luke, it became an act of defiance. The exact same words created two powerful moments, showing the brilliance of both the writing and Strother Martin's performance. Number 5. 3 classic westerns in one year. The year 1969 became the biggest of Strother Martin's career. He appeared in 3 of the most celebrated westerns ever made, all released within months of each other. The first was Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch, one of the most influential and talked about westerns in movie history. Martin played Coffer, a ruthless bounty hunter leading a rough posse after the aging outlaw gang headed by William Holden. It was a dark, demanding role, and Martin brought the perfect mix of greed, danger, and intensity to every scene. The second film was George Roy Hill's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, starring Paul Newman and Robert Redford. Martin played Percy Garris, the colorful Bolivian mine boss who hires Butch and Sundance as payroll guards. Though his screen time was short, he delivered one of the movie's most memorable moments. "That is what happens," Garris explains. "When you live 10 years alone in Bolivia, you get colorful. Moments later, the character is killed." It was Paul Newman who personally wanted Martin for the role. Director George Roy Hill later shared that when he began reading a list of actors for Percy Garris, the first name was Strother Martin. Newman immediately stopped him and said, "Do not go any farther." Martin never knew Newman had recommended him. He only learned the story years later while filming Slapshot. The third major Western of 1969 was Henry Hathaway's True Grit, starring John Wayne in his Academy Award-winning performance as Rooster Cogburn. Martin played Colonel G. Stonehill, the horse trader who gets outmatched in a sharp negotiation with 14-year-old Mattie Ross. 3 legendary Westerns, 3 completely different characters, all released in the same year. Few character actors in Hollywood history can match a streak like that. Number 4. The Paul Newman Connection. If John Wayne opened the door for Strother Martin, Paul Newman made sure it stayed open. The two appeared together in 6 films, creating one of Hollywood's strongest partnerships between a leading man and a character actor. Their journey began with The Silver Chalice in 1954, Paul Newman's first feature film. Martin had a small role, and both actors were still finding their place in Hollywood. They teamed up again in Harper, 1966, followed by Cool Hand Luke, 1967, the movie that made Martin instantly recognizable to audiences. The partnership continued with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid in 1969 and Pocket Money in 1972, which also starred Lee Marvin. But many fans consider Slapshot 1977 their most entertaining project together. In Slapshot, Martin played Joe McGrath, the cheap, crafty general manager of the struggling Charlestown Chiefs hockey team. Desperate to keep the franchise alive, McGrath looked for every possible solution except spending money. Martin's performance was packed with humor, showing he had outstanding comic timing, alongside the dramatic intensity that made him famous. The bond between Paul Newman and Strother Martin was built on real respect and trust. Newman admired Martin's complete commitment to every role, no matter how small. Martin never took that support for granted. He knew genuine loyalty in Hollywood was rare, and when someone believed in your talent, you gave your very best every time. Number 3. The Man Behind the Villains. Here's what surprised many people about Strother Martin. The actor, who played some of Western cinema's most intimidating and unpredictable characters, was, by nearly every account, one of the kindest and most thoughtful people in Hollywood. Away from the cameras, Martin loved gardening and spent hours caring for his plants. He was also a dedicated reader, especially enjoying the novels of Nikos Kazantzakis, the Greek author, famous for Zorba the Greek. Classical music was another passion, with English composer Frederick Delius ranking among his favorites. Friends recalled that Martin would sometimes stand in his living room wearing boxer shorts and a long shirt, happily conducting an imaginary orchestra while listening to Delius recordings. It's a funny image when you remember the stern prison captain from Cool Hand Luke, showing just how different the real man was from the characters he played. Martin married painter Helen Beatrice Meisels in the late 1960s, and they remained together for the rest of his life. Friends described their marriage as a warm, loving partnership. They had no children, but they built a close circle of friends and colleagues who cared deeply about them. Martin was also famous for his quick wit and self-deprecating humor. He once summed up the life of a character actor with remarkable honesty, saying no one in his position ever had real job security. "This may be the last movie I ever do in my life," he admitted. Even so, he believed getting older was actually an advantage for actors like him. Martin compared character actors to fine wine, explaining that age only made them better. Every wrinkle, gray hair, and lifetime of experience added authenticity that no amount of makeup or acting technique could truly copy. Number 2. The final act. By the mid-1970s, Strother Martin was busier than ever. He appeared in Hard Times, 1975, alongside Charles Bronson and James Coburn. That same year, he reunited with John Wayne one last time in Rooster Cogburn, the sequel to True Grit. In 1978, Martin surprised audiences by playing Arnold Stoner, the strict and disapproving father of Tommy Chong's character in Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. It was a completely different style of comedy, but he committed to the role with the same energy and professionalism he brought to every performance. Martin was also set to appear in the television film Dark Night of the Scarecrow. His friend, filmmaker J.D. Feigelson, wrote the screenplay, and Martin even contributed ideas during its development. It seemed like a role perfectly suited to his talents, but events took a different turn. On the 19th of April 1980, Strother Martin hosted Saturday Night Live. It was one of the final episodes featuring the original Not Ready for Primetime Players. During the show, Martin appeared in a sketch that playfully referenced his famous role as the captain from Cool Hand Luke, this time playing the strict owner of a French language camp for children. He even joked, "What we have here is failure to communicate bilingually." In another sketch, he portrayed a terminally ill man, recording his last will and testament. During the performance, he also brought back his well-known Tennessee Williams impression one final time. It was a standout night that showed Martin could shine on live television just as easily as he did on the big screen. The episode was scheduled for a summer rerun, but that never happened. Just over 3 months later, on the 1st of August 1980, Strother Martin attended a dinner at a Beverly Hills hotel before returning home to Agoura, California. Early the next morning, he woke with severe chest pains. He was rushed to Los Robles Regional Medical Center in Thousand Oaks, but he died of a heart attack at the age of 61. In his final years, he had been receiving medical care for diabetes and heart-related health issues. Out of respect following his passing, the planned Saturday Night Live rerun was removed from the schedule. Charles Durning later took over Martin's role in Dark Night of the Scarecrow. Martin was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in the Hollywood Hills. Number 1. The legacy of Hollywood's greatest character actor. Over a remarkable 30-year career, Strother Martin appeared in more than 170 film and television productions. He never won an Academy Award, and he was never even nominated. His only major awards recognition was a Golden Globe nomination for the 1974 television series Hawkins, starring alongside James Stewart. But for fans of classic westerns, Strother Martin's legacy was never measured by trophies. Mention his name, and chances are someone will instantly remember his face, his unmistakable voice, or repeat that unforgettable line. He appeared in 6 films with John Wayne and 6 with Paul Newman. He worked with legendary directors like John Ford, Sam Peckinpah, George Roy Hill, Henry Hathaway, Stuart Rosenberg, and Robert Wise. He starred in 3 iconic westerns released in 1969 alone, a remarkable achievement few actors can match. Whether he played a villain, a troublemaker, or an unforgettable side character, Martin had an incredible gift for stealing every scene without ever needing top billing. Just 3 days before his passing, Strother Martin gave what would become his final interview. Looking back on his life with the honesty that defined him, he said, "No man can achieve immortality. We don't live for what comes after we are dead, but for what we can achieve in this life, the only chance we have." After a brief pause, he added one last thought about the journey that took him from a diving board in Indiana to the bright lights of Hollywood. "Maybe there has been some diamond dust and gold glitter in my life. Maybe there has been indeed." And maybe he was right. Decades later, Strother Martin is still remembered as one of Hollywood's greatest character actors, proving that unforgettable talent never fades. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like the video, subscribe for more classic Hollywood stories, share this with fellow movie fans, and leave a comment below with your favorite Strother Martin role or performance. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.